This is NTA International News. I am Usman Aliu. Now the headlines. President Buhari swears in Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Presidential Election Petition Court dismisses petition of People's Democratic Movement. Plus, Boris Johnson officially takes over as United Kingdom's Prime Minister. Now the news in details. Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad has been sworn in as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. This followed the Senate's confirmation of his nomination by President Muhammadu Buhari, who also presided over the swearing-in ceremony. The new CJN promised that the nation's judiciary under his watch will stand to be counted in the renewed fight against corruption for national growth and development. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct or my official decisions.
Since the 25th of January this year, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad had been the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria following the suspension and subsequent retirement of the then Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, on allegations of wrongdoing. Holder of a doctorate degree in law from Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad from Bauchi State is the most senior justice of the Supreme Court. He was called to bar in 1981, began his career on the bench in 1982, joined the Court of Appeal as justice in 1993 and the Apex Court in 1997. President Muhammadu Buhari did not speak at the ceremony, but it is on record that while swearing in the new CJN in acting capacity last January, the president was emphatic that the fight against corruption as one of the tripod of policies promised Nigerians by his administration cannot be achieved without the cooperation of the judiciary. So what will Nigerians expect from the judiciary under his watch in support of the renewed onslaught against corruption? A question posed by NTA News to the new CJN.
The judiciary under my watch, inshallah al-Karim, will be better. Any case that has to do with the allegation of corruption, we speed it up so that if somebody requests to go to jail, he'll go to jail. I will ask you people and any other person who knows about it, please let him write to me or let him have contact with me. Tell me, and we are going to apply the law as it is. And we will see that all this transcends down to the lower ebb of the judiciary, so that even the area courts, the magistrate courts, will see what we do, and they will be bound by what we do.
Apart from Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad's family members, the ceremony was also witnessed in solidarity by several justices of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, as well as the Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Muhammad.
I'm very happy and exhilarated by this very auspicious appointment to our brother, our elder brother, who has distinguished himself as a jurist, somebody of very high integrity. The whole state where I represent is excited by his appointment, and indeed the country, because he is going to bring pedigree, professionalism, and excellence to the judiciary.
Very good appointment. I've been with him long ago, right from the Court of Appeal, right up to the Supreme Court. We work together.
A man of impeccable character, a man who will reform the judiciary, who will bring good things to the judiciary, and make the country move forward.
He is fit and proper, and he will do us proud. He's a gentleman to the core, and he's very, very honest. He will hold his position very firmly too.
Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad is the 18th Chief Justice of Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And now, determined to ensure that the next level agenda takes Nigeria to greater heights and effectively impacts positively on the livelihood of the people, the federal government has assembled key players in the public and private sectors of the economy, as well as development partners, to chart the best way forward This is at a two-day presidential policy retreat which drew participants from within and outside the country, including the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu again reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari is leading the federal government team to the retreat, being attended by principal officers of the National Assembly, state governors, as well as APC national leadership, while Alhaji Aliko Dangote is at the head of the private sector participants. It is a common knowledge to all at the event that since coming to power in 2015, the governing APC has made good its promise of diversifying and stabilizing the economy, fighting corruption, and securing the country for effective management towards meeting genuine public aspirations. How to consolidate on these achievements informed this policy retreat, as explained by President Muhammadu Buhari.
We are committed to consolidating the successes of the first term and creating an avenue such that the nation's investments and resources are geared towards sustainable development. This policy dialogue session has been conceived to advise the government over the next 4 years to deliver on our promises in a manner that reflects true changes to the livelihood of our people. B, discuss and propose for federal government's approval key strategies and high-impact initiatives to stimulate economic growth and development.
About 10 plenary sessions are to be held over the next 2 days, focusing on economic growth, infrastructure investments, mass housing, and restructuring of the energy sector. Also to be discussed includes efficiency in government, tackling challenges of security, human capital development, as well as unlocking the nation's potentials in agriculture and solid minerals.
This president, if he has opposition, is among the rich. If he has supporters, it's among the poor. The poor people's money must be used to address the critical identifiable challenges of the poor. May God drive our thoughts, our processes, and rejig everything such that at the end of the day, those people will say yes, say Baba. We elected him, we trusted him, and he has delivered.
Expectations are that the outcome of this presidential policy retreat, which ends on Friday, will chart the course for Nigeria for the next 4 years. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And the Senate has commenced the screening of ministerial nominees as requested by President Muhammadu Buhari. The Senate, in a committee of the whole, interacted with the new nominees, with the 10 nominees on their part, shared their past experiences or views on what they hope to bring on board for the overall development of Nigeria. At the end of the screening, the Senate President Ahmad Lawan had this to say.
The Senate, in the committee of the whole, considered the request of Mr. Presidency in C for the confirmation of nominees for appointments as ministers of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The nominees answered questions from distinguished senators on a number of topical issues. The nominees screened are 1, Honorable Amechi Rotimi from Rivers, 2, Dr. Obone Onu from Ebonyi State, 3, Senator Adeleke Mamora from Lagos State, 4, Architect Olamilekon Adegbite from Ogun State, 5, Malang Adamu from Bauchi State, and 6, Sharon Ekezo from Anambra State. As ministers of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is this a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole?
The Senate adjourned to Thursday, the 25th of July, to continue the screening of nominees from Ondo, Borno, Kano, Bayelsa, Kogi, Ekiti, Nasarawa, and Oyo states. The Presidential Election Petition Court has dismissed the petition of the People's Democratic Movement. The 5-man panel of justices led by Justice Mohammed Garba dismissed the petition following the motion on notice at the instance of the petitioners. Dele Atumbi reports.
The People's Democratic Movement and its candidate Amici Abu, who is the National Financial Secretary of the party, through their counsel Aliyu Lemu, filed the motion for the withdrawal of the matter on 23 July 2019. The motion sought the leave of the court to withdraw the petition. The leave of the court is needed since the matter has gone beyond the pre-hearing session. At the previous hearing, the five-man presidential election petition court, led by Justice Mohammed Garba, dismissed the motion of the party to withdraw from the suit and thereafter fixed this Wednesday for the hearing of the substantive case. At the resumed hearing of the substantive case, counsel to the petitioners, Aliyu Lemu, informed the court of the petitioners' pending motion seeking its leave for the withdrawal of the petition. The petitioners argued that the withdrawal of the petition was in the interest of justice as well as in line with paragraph 29 of the first schedule of the Electoral Act. PDM and its candidate told the court that they have found alternative ways of seeking redress for the complaints alleged in their petition. The ground of the petition is the purported non-inclusion of the party's logo in the ballot paper used for the presidential election. Yusuf Ali, SAN, counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Ustaz Usman, SAN, counsel to INEC, Funke Adekoya, SAN, counsel to APC, did not object to the motion of the petitioners. It is in the light of this that the five-man presidential election petition court, led by Justice Mohammed Garba, granted the application and thereby dismissed the petition.
I think this is what we should encourage. Have you ever seen white people filing election petitions? Whoever loses congratulates the person who wins. Because one thing we don't know in this life is that what God does not want you to be, whatever you do, you can be. And if God wants you to be, nobody can remove it from you.
It's a record development, and it's something that started very well and ended very well. So welcome it.
The court is here to grant remedy to all people that appear before it. We fought a good fight. Not all remedies are gotten inside of the courtroom. The grievance of my client has been acknowledged. He has been assuaged. As you can see from the court, we've earned the mutual respect of the court and opposing counsels in this matter. My client is satisfied. We are satisfied. It is time to leave the administration of Muhammadu Buhari to concentrate on national development.
This is the second petition to be dismissed by the court following the withdrawal by the petitioners, the first being that of African Action Congress. With this development, the Presidential Election Petition Court has two petitions pending before it. They are that of the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Atiku Abubakar, and Hope Democratic Party and its candidate Ambrose Wuru. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
For the first time since the Code of Conduct for Public Officers was introduced into the 1999 Constitution by the military, an attempt has been made to review the Code of Conduct Tribunal and Code of Conduct Bureau Acts. A national workshop to begin the reformation of the acts has commenced in Abuja, from where Femi Okio reports.
The National Workshop on the Reform of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Code of Conduct Tribunal Act is a response to the various observations made by the public in the years of their usage by the various governments since 1979. Even though the Code of Conduct for Public Officers was wholly adopted into the 1999 Constitution, society and the fight against corruption have since changed from the initial concept that brought about the original initiative, thereby necessitating a review.
We have learned from the recent experience, and we need to strengthen our system for the protection of democracy, which exists for the protection of all of us. As individuals, we need to generate ideas, we need to stimulate discourses, bring ideas together so that when these ideas are developed, then we can say, government, this is an alternative. This is a way of looking at this situation.
The workshop is also beginning a reform of both the penal and criminal codes, with the hope to update and possibly unify them where necessary.
It's a long process. It will end up in the National Assembly, but we as citizens have to start it, and it's desirable.
This was how the journey into the review of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act started in 2003, and even though it was passed in 2015. Now the journey for the review of the Criminal Code and Criminal Act and the Code of Conduct Tribunal and Code of Conduct Bureau Act have started. Let's see how long it takes. In Abuja, Femi Okio, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA International. Time to go for a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
National Alliance Against Drug Abuse, NADA, presents the second National Youth Conference on Drug Abuse. Theme: Reversing the Drug Abuse Trend in Nigeria. Date: Tuesday, 8 August 2019 at the International Conference Center, Abuja. Time is 9 a.m. prompt. For sponsorships, call 090-850-10,000. Proudly supported by NTA.
NTA International.
Security experts have advocated a holistic approach in tackling the security challenges facing the African continent. The indication was given at the launch of a Tana Forum report on the state of peace and security in Africa for the year 2019. Omenka Marachuku has details.
Relating to peace and security in Africa have remained on the front burner, particularly with the increase in refugee and migration flow in the continent. This worrying development has contributed to security threats. As a follow-up, key players in the security sector converged in Abuja to strategize on enhancing peace and security in Africa.
The gathering here today is part of the sustained global engagements targeted at reflecting on the dynamics of peace and security in the African continent, which I believe will enhance our understanding of the challenge and stimulate relevant policy options and strategies to mitigate them.
We're talking about promoting youth engagement, engaging also youth in all of these processes, but if we do not tackle the huge question of youth unemployment, there will continue to be the reversals and it will continue to breed some of the challenges that we've highlighted.
We are putting in place measures, we are putting in place mechanisms to respond to those challenges, and more importantly, we are building ownership of the responses in the peace and security environment.
The report x-rays security challenges faced in Africa and preferred solutions to them. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku, NTA News.
The House of Representatives at Wednesday plenary resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the circumstances surrounding the alleged abscondment of 5 Nigerian soldiers of Operation Harbin Kunama based in Sokoto, who were detailed to escort a VIP with huge amount of cash to Kaduna State on the 11th of this month. In a motion of urgent importance by the Representative Abubakar Balarabe, the House expressed worry over the allegation that the VIP disposed of the cash by the soldiers who were supposed to guard him. Cognizant of the fact that the Nigerian Army has constituted a committee to holistically investigate the incident, the House also expressed concern over movement of such amount of money by road and not through a using bank. It therefore resolved to investigate the source of the money, its purpose, as well as the owner within 4 weeks. Okay. Nigeria Interreligious Council rose from its quarterly meeting with a resolve to encourage dialogue amongst people for better understanding that will entrench peace in the country. Abdul Karim Mohammed Zurmi now reports.
It's another quarter and another meeting of the Nigerian Interreligious Council, where members of the 2 main religions in Nigeria, Islam and Christianity, meet to deliberate on how to foster harmony and unity amongst adherents of both faiths. The theme of this edition is justice and good governance for peace, and so speaker after speaker dwelt on dialogue, which they all believe holds the key to resolving differences and understanding one another.
As religious leaders, we must use our position, our exalted position, our privileged positions to preach peace.
Good or bad governance is normally ascribed to leaders alone, forgetting that citizens have an equal share in good or bad governance.
NIRAC members also believe that good governance will always play a part in providing opportunities and addressing matters that could cause friction between the 2 major religions in the country.
Dialogue and peace has always been and still remains a need, a necessity, a must for us to have a healthy and more productive society.
I have no doubt in the sincerity and determination of this council and all well-meaning Nigerians in their resolve to influence, to grow, promote, and sustained in united Nigeria.
There is optimism here that Nigeria can overcome her challenges if everyone works towards peaceful resolution of disputes and conflicts. In Abuja, Abdul Karim Mohammed Zurmi, NTA News.
The Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory, Christian Oha, has condoled with the Nigerian Police Force, FCT Command families of late DCP Operations Usman Umar, as well as Channels Television over the death of a core member attached to the media house, following the clash between members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria and the police on Monday. He reassured residents that the government will continue to partner with security agencies to protect lives and property in the Federal Capital Territory. He prayed God to grant families of the deceased the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. The Commissioner of Police, Bala Chiroma, thanked the Permanent Secretary for the visit. And in related development, following the unfortunate death of a youth corps member serving at Channels Television during the last demonstration by members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, the management of the Nigerian Television Authority paid a condolence visit to the management of Channels Television in Abuja. Kolo Muhammad reports.
NTA's condolence team, led by the Executive Director News, Muhammad Labbo, was received by John Momo, Chairman, Channels TV. Described as a young man cut short in his prime, Precious Owolabi died of a gunshot wound while covering the demonstration by Shiite members, which resulted to a clash with security agents.
The management of Channels TV over the death of the young youth couple attached to Channels TV, who was gunned down at the prime of his life. We feel the pains that Channels TV feels, and we pray God that He will accept the soul of the young man.
We've asked the police to investigate this killing, the unfortunate incidents, because we were there yesterday to see. It's still before those one. But you know, these things happen.
Precious Owolabi was someone that was very dear to us. He did very well while he was with us. He's one of our favorite corps members because he was always willing to learn.
The NTA management also signed the condolence register opened at Channels Television. A service of songs is scheduled to be held later for the young, assertive, late Precious Owolabi. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
And on foreign scene, Boris Johnson officially takes over as United Kingdom's Prime Minister. For details of this and other stories making the headlines on the global scene, Obiageli Ugoke is our guide.
Many thanks for joining us. Uganda has lowered academic requirements for police recruits in order to deal with desertion and indiscipline. Police spokesperson Fred Enanga said the move was informed by a study done by its Human Resource Division. The study found out that constables with Senior 6 academic A-level certificates were a bit low on productivity and also used the police as a springboard to other careers. Officers in the entry-level constable rank will now only be required to have an O-level certificate of education. And in Ethiopia, more than 450 persons in southern Sidama area who fled their homes for fear of violence are taking refuge in a church. The people seeking protection are residents of the town of Yadalem, one of several places in the area where violence broke out last week over a delayed referendum on whether a separate federal state of Sidama should be created. Following the violence, soldiers and federal police have been deployed to the southern nations, nationalities and peoples region where Sidama is located, to oversee security. And in UK, Theresa May, in her farewell speech before handing over to Boris Johnson in Downing Street, said she would continue as a constituency member of Parliament and is happy to hand over to a successor committed to delivering Brexit and creating a bright future for the country. Mr. Boris Johnson is expected to use the opportunity to increase the number of women in full cabinet positions and boost the representation of ethnic minorities. That's the package. Thanks for watching. I'm Obiageli Ugoke.
President Muhammadu Buhari warmly congratulates Mr. Boris Johnson as United Kingdom's new British Prime Minister, while felicitating with Mrs. Theresa May for providing visionary leadership for the country. In a goodwill message, the President said, "In Nigeria, we respect the choice of British people and we are ready to work with the new Prime Minister to improve our close relations. Britain has been one of Nigeria's most reliable allies, especially in supporting the efforts of this administration to improve security and stamp out corruption and graft." As Mr. Johnson steps into Ms. May's shoes, we look forward to continuation of the good relationships that binds us together for many years. President Buhari adds that we value this relationship so deeply that regardless of who is in charge, this relationship should survive the political changes in the UK. The President praised the British democratic model, describing it as one of the most successful systems in the world, which has survived time. Garba Shehu, Senior Special Advisor to the President and Media and Publicity, stated this. And now a quick look on weather for Thursday. And that's the news on the hour on NTA International. Reaching you from Abuja, thanks for being with us.